Joining a fraternity ruined my college experience. Hey, you. Have you ever heard of these things called frat parties? You know, those magical college bangers where all the dudes get laid, all the girls dance their hearts out to their favorite songs, and supposedly it's the height of the college experience? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm here today to tell you the frat parties are overrated. What's up? I'm Jacob. I'm president of my own fraternity at Duquesne University. I promise I'm not just some Greek life hater who's here to tell you
about all the reasons why fraternities suck.
I've actually lived the experience and I'm here to tell my tale. If you're a high school student who's thinking about joining a fraternity, or you're in college and you're thinking about rushing, I'm here today to give you the raw truth so that you can decide once and for all whether it's the right decision for you. So I want to get right into the good stuff right away and talk about parties. Frat parties start out great. When you first get to college, they're really fun because you're meeting lots of new people, you're talking to girls, maybe if you didn't drink a lot in high school, you're experimenting with alcohol for the first time. They do start off as a great experience. In fact, I would say that some of my favorite college memories have been from drunk adventures after frat parties, just roaming around the city, doing stupid stuff with my friends, stuff that at the time didn't seem that memorable, but that I still cherish to this day. Unfortunately, after you hear Mr. Brightside for the 1000th time, it starts to get old. Frat parties are like anything else in life. They're a novelty. They start off as really fun, but then after you see the same people, listen to the same songs, dance in the same basement weekend after weekend after weekend, they start to get old. My main point here is that frat parties are great when you first get to college. They are really fun, but they're not a valid reason to join a fraternity because the novelty does wear off. If you ask any junior or senior in a fraternity, they're not going to tell you that frat parties are the height of their fraternity experience. So just keep that in mind when you're making a decision, that they are a fun component, but they're not the main component. Now the second thing I want to talk about are friends. Now there is this kind of myth that you pay for friends if you're in Greek life, and you can choose to look at it that way, but the reality is we pay for lots of clubs and organizations that we're a part of, so I don't really buy it. I also want to bring up the fact that joining a fraternity doesn't guarantee that you'll make friends. Like, for example, let me ask you a question. Do you have 40 friends? The answer is probably no. So if you join a fraternity with maybe around 40 people, is it reasonable to assume that you're going to be friends with every single one of them? Probably not. But the thing is, while joining a fraternity doesn't guarantee that you'll make friends, but what it does do is it opens up the potential to make friends. Because you're surrounded by like-minded people and you're doing lots of fun things, there is a good chance that you're going to be able to make a couple of friends within that large group of 40. Plus, let me tell you that if you struggle with your social skills, joining a fraternity is one of the best things you can do to improve them. Because you're constantly going to be meeting new people and having conversations and just doing fun things with your friends, you're definitely going to level up your conversation and your social skills as well. So the main takeaway here is that joining a fraternity is not going to guarantee that you make friends, but it does open up the opportunity to make lots of friends, which can be a very valuable thing, especially when you're just starting off in college and you maybe don't know a lot of people. Now, the third thing I want to talk about is pledging, and this is where it gets real. Now, we've all seen the cultural stereotypes around pledging, like from Animal House, and we've also seen the more nefarious aspects of pledging, like the stories that came out of Penn State about the member who died during the hazing process. Here's my take on pledging. Across every single school and across every single fraternity within the school, the pledging process is completely different. If you go to Alabama and join the largest fraternity there, you're going to have a much different pledging experience than if you go to a small school and join one of the smaller fraternities. So I can't give you kind of like a catch-all on what pledging is like, but I can give you some general advice when it comes to this part of joining a fraternity. I think the biggest thing that you'll find with pledging is that it's a big time commitment. So you have to, one, be organized and be able to balance things, but two, also be able to manage your schoolwork while you're pledging. If you're really not good with time management skills, or maybe you really need to focus on your grades, joining a fraternity might not be the right step for you because the pledging process is going to take up a lot of your time. I know personally, I'll tell you that I didn't have to be branded or anything crazy like that, but it did suck. It's probably going to suck for you too. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you're joining. So the fourth thing I want to talk about is connections. Once people get to college, the social status hierarchy doesn't really matter anymore. Simply put, no one cares that you joined a fraternity. Like, you're not going to show up to class wearing your letters and everyone in it is going to think you're really cool because you're in a frat. It really doesn't work that way. But what joining a fraternity can offer you is other connections. It's great for opening up the door to job opportunities with alumni, doing philanthropy events that you can put on your resume, and honestly just gaining lots of valuable people skills that you can apply later in your life. Now obviously I'm speaking from experience of like a medium-sized school. Maybe if you go to Alabama or Penn State, there is like social status that's attached to being in a fraternity. But I think for most of the people that I've talked to, it's really not that big of a deal. So don't think that just joining a fraternity is going to automatically make you like a campus cool guy. So, is joining a fraternity worth it? I can tell you that from my experience, it certainly is. While there definitely are pros and cons to it, it's just like everything else in life. Joining a fraternity is a great way to build a great social circle, especially when you're first joining college. Parties are a great way to meet new people and put yourself out there. You might make a lot of new friends, and it's actually great for finding job opportunities and building up your resume further down the line. That being said, it's definitely not all glamour. You'd be surprised how much drama just like a bunch of dudes can produce. Like, we like to think that drama is reserved for sororities and groups of girls, but that is definitely not the case. I've dealt with more drama than I ever care to deal with in my fraternity experience. And there's also just the normal costs that come with being in a club, like actually having to pay dues, show up, do work. It's not just like a free ride to a ton of fun. You do have to like apply yourself and put in work to get stuff out of it as well. So I want to leave you with this thought. You only have 4 years in college, and trust me when I say they're gonna fly by. I'm already in my junior year and I don't know where the time has went. So, above all else, you want to make sure that you maximize your college experience. And if joining a fraternity is something that you think will make your experience just a little bit better, I would highly encourage you to explore it, because that's what life is all about. New experiences, challenging ourselves, and opening ourselves up to the possibilities. Thanks for watching. I hope that my perspective has given you maybe some thoughts on whether joining a fraternity is right for you. If you enjoyed what I had to say, please check out some of my other videos about college, data science, and lifestyle stuff in general. And I'll see you around.